Before I do start this video, I would like to say this. If you do find this video enjoyable and or interesting, I would really appreciate if you let me know, either by liking the video, commenting, or subscribing. That way I can actually dedicate into putting more effort like I did in this video. But let's get right into it. YouTube provides an amazing opportunity for pretty much anyone to thrive in. Sometimes it's DIY channels, sometimes gaming channels, and sometimes, when the YouTube gods deem it worthy, art channels. Everyone can go big and make a name for themselves, and along with this comes fame and power. People will look up to you, and if you interact with them, which you should, you can make their entire day. However, as we will soon realize, not everyone has the best of intentions. Come in are three subjects: LionMaker Studios, Austin Jones, and more recently, Minilad. All content creators, all child predators. Hi, I'm Chaotic Tunes, and today I will be your guide in this trip through the dark abyss. First stop on the chopping block, LionMaker Studios. We shall refer to him as Lion from now on to save us time and saliva. And in case you don't know who he is, let's do a quick catch up. Lion was a Minecraft YouTuber who was quickly gaining popularity in 2014. His success came both from trying different things out in Minecraft, such as Hunger Games and Survival, as well as constant collaborations with other Minecraft YouTubers. These constant collaborations allowed all channels involved to gain subscribers from one another, as well as making the content more enjoyable. Lion kept on growing, and he seemed like he couldn't be stopped, until a certain gnome got involved. On a cool September night, Drama Alert, aka the YouTube gnome himself, released a video on Lion titled "Angry Mother, LionMaker Asked Minecraft Kid for Nudes." Quite a shocking title if you ask me, but nothing out of the ordinary for the gnome. However, I digress. The video exposed LionMaker as a child predator, providing a screenshot of him asking a 13-year-old for nudes, along with Mr. Gnome interviewing the mother of the child.
How she ended up talking to him, that's a difficult one. She was given an iPad from her school because she reached that age where they're given them.
Right.
And she got into the YouTube thing.
And before anyone says, well, did he know she was 13? Yes, he was explicitly told what her age was.
Now, before he asked your daughter for nudes, did he know how old your daughter was?
Absolutely, absolutely.
The mother even talked to Lion about her daughter only being 13.
You must bear in mind she is only a 13-year-old child.
No room for error. And yet, surprisingly, Lion didn't bleed subscribers. At least not yet. You see, with Lion being exposed, it was only a matter of time before another allegation came about. And about it did come. Two 15-year-old boys came forth with evidence exposing Lion yet once again. The first child explained that, well, yes, he did look up to Lion, he only admired him as a content creator and not a potential partner. Lion did not give up though, and kept telling the 15-year-old child to have fun with him. And I don't believe I need to explain why that sentence is just repulsive. But do keep in mind I mentioned two 15-year-old boys. Lion, not being satisfied, offered to pay the second child money in exchange for nude photos of himself. And yet once again, there was evidence for this happening. The second boy provided screenshots for both the messages exchange and PayPal balance, as well as a phone call to PayPal proving that Lion had indeed sent him that money. And while I would love to show you this evidence, I cannot provide it, since the second boy had completely deleted it off of his channel, and as a matter of fact, he deleted the entire content of his channel. And the worst was yet to come, trust me. You see, if you watch LionMaker's videos back in the day, there was a recurring guest, Paige the Panda. She was a regular in Lion's videos, and she was only 15 years old at the time. And keep in mind that Lion was well in his late 20s. Even though Lion nearly doubled the age of Paige, he still went into a relationship with her. And it's common sense that a relationship of this kind is bound to cause controversy. And along with all of the previous incidents and all of the evidence, well, Lion finally broke under the pressure. You see, Lion finally decided to come clean about his relationship with Paige. But the way he decided to go about it is nothing short of terrifying. He said that yes, he was indeed in a sexual relationship with Paige, and then proceeded to post nude photos of Paige, who again was only 15. LionMaker posted nude photos of a 15-year-old girl on Twitter for the whole world to see. And to make it even worse, he was even quoted tweeting that for every retweet he would post another photo. It's just absolutely disgusting, okay? Lion abused his position of fame and power to take advantage of his younger audience and do extremely repulsive things. He attempted to groom underage children as well as having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old girl. And the cherry on top, he wanted to say that he would sue anyone who talked wrongly about him because it was slander. He attempted to make a comeback but met little to no success, and honestly, it's better off that he remains in the past and very far away from the future. Alright, who's next? Ah, yes, pretty boy Austin Jones. What an absolute creep this guy is, honestly. Anywho, for those who don't know who Austin is, or I guess was, let's do a quick recap. Austin was a YouTuber who in his time would make a cappella covers of songs from artists that already had a young following, such as 21 Pilots, and then upload them to YouTube. However, we can all agree that a huge factor to his success was his popularity towards younger girls. At the peak of his career, Austin had well over 500,000 subscribers here on YouTube and well over 33 million views, and not even to mention that he was about to go on the Vans Warped Tour. Then it all came crashing down. You see, Austin's downfall began in June of 2015 when he was caught red-handed requesting that his fans send him twerking videos. While that request alone is quite creepy, we do need to remember that his fan base consisted mostly of underage girls. Austin even went as far as to record himself, and I quote, twerking to show the girls how to do it.
Hey cutie, so this is like the first basic twerk move. So this is what you do. You stand with your legs apart, you bend your legs, and then you arch your back, and you don't arch it. You do it faster, so it's like this.
What the fuck is this? Why is he making eye contact with me?
Now it's your turn.
Oh, bro, I can't make this shit up. Like, I tried to watch that video with a straight face, but I couldn't. I know this is a serious matter and it should be taken seriously, but you cannot deny that shit is just too funny. Like, I legit cannot make this shit up for you, alright? Anyways, the thing is, the girl who got the video saved it and posted it on Twitter, and it started blowing up. And when things blow up, they kind of get around. And when things get around, they come back to bite you in the ass. And that's exactly what happened to Austin. It came back and bit him right in the ass. He promptly went to contact the girl and asked that the video be removed. The girl said she would if Austin exposed himself, to which Austin said, and I quote, "I will, in 2 months. Why 2 months? Alright, remember at the start of Austin's session I told you that he was about to go on tour? You wouldn't want that affecting your tour and the profits that you're gonna make off of it, right? But if you thought things were bad already, they're about to get even worse. He seems to have an obsession with the girls exclaiming just how young they are, alright? Like, he would always request that they put a lot of emphasis on their age. And need I remind you, these fans are underage, okay? Underage. A little sus. And like, to make it even worse, if he didn't like the video or the girl didn't want to do it, then he would start manipulating, right? He would try and use his fame and his looks to sway the girls towards doing it. He was even quoted saying, "You must be so happy," obviously referring to the fact that they were talking to him or pressuring them by saying, "Are you really my biggest fan if you won't even do this for me?" This kind of almost feels like grooming. And it feels like grooming because it is grooming, alright? After looking at all the evidence against Austin, it isn't hard to see that his goal was to groom his fans in order to keep them sending him this content he so much desired. He would constantly remind the girls that you need to continue proving that you're my biggest fan. It just baffles me how someone can be so twisted that they can think about doing these things and justify them. It's sick and just plain out wrong. And I could have made Austin's, part a lot longer. Trust me, the evidence is there and it just goes on and on. However, I don't want Austin to be the focus of this video. And I hope that the focus is becoming more and more clear. Austin decided to abuse his power and manipulate his fans. And when the consequences came back to haunt him, he decided to say it was because he had a bad childhood and that he was in a good mental place. I've heard those excuses a million times, dude. They don't justify this shit. Honestly, I'm glad that Austin is serving a minimum of 10 years in federal prison, right? And it's good to know that with him away, YouTube is just a little bit safer. What a peaceful day to fish. Oh, this is a big fish, dude. Alright, there we go. Oh shit, this is a big ass fish. What is that? Does that say Mini Lad? Ah, yes, the big fish himself, Mini Lad. Who is Mini Lad, you say? I'm surprised you don't know, but let me enlighten you. Mini Lad is a gaming YouTuber who originally began blowing up after he joined the Vanoss crew, and he was a core member for quite a while. However, after some time, people started noticing that he was no longer appearing in the videos. While he claimed that he left the crew to prove that he could be successful by himself, it didn't take long for evidence to start showing up, contradicting his statement. But let's backtrack real quick, because we are here to see Mini Lad's abuse of power, not his lack of honesty. Let me set the scene for you, alright? The year is 2020, a year that has been plagued by one bad thing happening after another. A year where nobody is safe, not even Mini Lad. You see, in June of 2020, two allegations were brought up to light against Mini Lad. One of the allegations came from Hallie, who at the time was a 17-year-old girl. She claimed that Mini manipulated her when she was 16 to 17 into keeping quiet about many things. And how exactly did he manipulate her? Well, that's easy. He would threaten to hurt himself. And Hallie, being a fan of his, obviously didn't want that. She did her best to keep Mini happy and to be on his good side, but Mini, being Mini, decided that he could toy with Hallie's emotions by flirting with her or perhaps sending more inappropriate content. It even got to the point where Mini sent unsolicited dick pics. However, I do believe he was wearing his underwear, so no privates were shown. The thing is, Mini would ask her if she thought he was big. Pretty shady, Mini. Pretty shady. You're asking an underage girl if she thinks you're big. I mean, I don't want to explain this. Now, you might be thinking, well, chaotic. What exactly did Mini want Hallie to be quiet about? And to that I answer, he wanted her to keep quiet about allegation number 2 from becoming public. You see, the second allegation came from a girl named Ash, who had quite the experience with Mini, while she was, I believe, 17. The thing is, what Mini did with Hallie was just mild compared to what he did with Ash. Much like Hallie, Ash was a huge fan of Mini Lad, so imagine her excitement when Mini started messaging her regularly and even added her on Snapchat. She was over the moon, and things were normal up until one day when it all just took a turn. According to Ash, the subject of virginity had come up and Mini asked if she was a virgin. Ash answered and said yes, that she was, and Mini asked if he could take her virginity. At one point, Ash had a trip planned to California, and Mini insisted on her coming over so he could do the deed. Luckily, Ash didn't go to California, but that did not stop Mini. You see, Mini kept on insisting to get nude photos and videos of Ash. Well, keep in mind, she was underage. Initially, she declined it, but out of fear of him losing interest in her and his constant persuasion, she eventually gave in. She does state in her tweet longer that quite a few amount of, nude content was exchanged, so it's not a good look for Mini. And see, the thing is, much like Hallie, Ash kept quiet for a long time due to her fear of Mini hurting himself. And you see, the thing is, both of these allegations only came to light because the hashtag #MeToo movement was in full swing. And I understand it can be a scary thing to come out about things like this. Obviously, it's personal things and things that you feel would make people look at you in a different way, but it needs to be told. Otherwise, the victims stay victims and the predators just keep on doing what they're doing. However, back to the point. Once again, we see a famous person abusing his power to manipulate. He manipulated both of these girls because both of them looked up to him and they both found him attractive. And once they were close enough, Minnie would threaten them with hurting himself. And let me tell you, under no circumstances should anyone be afraid of doing anything because the other person threatens to hurt themselves. It's manipulation, and trust me, I've been on that receiving end, and it's an extremely scary thing. It's honestly an awful thing to be involved in. The concerning thing about Minnie is that even though this evidence is there and a lot of people talked about it, Minnie Lad did bleed subscribers, but he's not bleeding out nearly as much to make an inference. He has lost partnerships, he's lost a stadium, he's lost friendships over this. Hell, even his editor left him. But the thing that bothers me the most is that Minnie Lad is carrying on like nothing ever happened. He made a video apologizing and he made a couple tweets saying, that, it did happen, yada yada. But he's just pretending like none of this ever happened. And for some reason, that just does not sit well with me. Hopefully, after walking through this dark abyss, you figured out what the pattern was. It truly is worrying the amount of people that turn out to be predators. Am I claiming that every single YouTuber is a predator? No, of course not. There are lots of genuine good people on here, and they massively outnumber the personalities that are just in it for themselves. However, it cannot be ignored that there seems to be a trend. All three of the mentioned YouTubers came from completely different eras. LionMaker Studios happened during the YouTube Minecraft boom, and Austin Jones rose to fame during the Vine migration to YouTube. And Minnie Lad, it occurred during the current times in YouTube. So, what is the common factor between these three? Their content was always aimed at a younger audience. The other trend I seem to have found is that because of their fame, they tend to get a lot of slack. For example, Austin Jones' allegations were being denied at first because people were just like, oh, it's Austin Jones, he can't be doing these things. And once people kept saying it and more evidence kept stacking, they turned against him. LionMaker, exact same thing, although his was a little different since he did eventually break and went on an awful rampage. And Minnie Lad is just acting like if nothing ever happened. His views are declining, his subscribers are declining, and yet he's pretending like he's living in a world where he did no wrong. You see, it's not until the bigger personality starts turning against them that people start changing their opinion on the subject. I'm not saying we need to believe everyone who accuses someone else, but if there's evidence, maybe we should just, take a closer look. I really hope that me bringing up these dark topics didn't, ruin your day. My goal was to demonstrate that there's always been things that we need to look out for. We need to stick together as a community, and when things happen, we need to, tackle them head on as a community rather than dividing ourselves up and saying, oh, well, I'm a fan of his, so he did nothing wrong, or saying, oh, well, I blindly believe this person even though they haven't provided any evidence. We need to look at both sides, and we need to make a good decision on what the outcome should be. But this is just my opinion, and I would love to hear yours. So down below, do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? What do you think we can do to improve things here on YouTube? I would really appreciate it, any input you can give me, because maybe you can change my mind, maybe I can change yours. It will be a lovely conversation. And as I did mention at the start of this video, if you did enjoy the video, I did put in a lot of effort into it. I made several scripts, I made an outline, I went to gather all the evidence, I watched so many fucking documentaries on all these subjects. It also took me quite a while, but I did enjoy the process, and I feel like it's a very rewarding process. So even if people don't really watch the video, it's still a very cool experience for me to have done this. But nonetheless though, I do hope you have a wonderful day, and until next time, don't do drugs, because those things are pretty bad for you.